Hello, everyone. I now want to introduce exercise 5 for you for this month, and I call exercise 5 patterns. The idea is relatively simple. So you begin, as with most of these exercises, in a quiet space, going inside and going into your own head. And I want you to try and quiet your mind for a moment and see if you can possibly empty your thoughts so that there's kind of a blankness and emptiness. It's not easy, but just try. And every time a thought comes up, just move past it and create this sense of emptiness. If you can hold on to that for a few seconds, then begins the process that I want to go through now. And what you'll inevitably notice as you do this is that thoughts will pop up. You cannot control them. And I want you to pay attention to these thoughts that you do not control, that come up on their own out of you don't know where, you're unconscious. Pay attention to them, and you'll notice there'll be a certain form to them. There will be what I call grievances, things that people aren't giving to you, disappointments in other people, grievances about other people, and what they're not giving you, and how they're kind of failing in meeting your needs and doing what you want, or responding to your ideas, etc. You notice that those kind of grievances pop up all of the time. Another kind of thought that will pop up will be fantasies that will be sexual, that will be about power, that will be about great things that will happen to you, about your ambitions. These will come up in ways, have a degree of excitement to you, and they're not as frequent as some of these other ones, but they do pop up. And they have a kind of a sparkly nature to them. They're sort of associated with exciting things. They're things that are often unrealistic. You'll also notice, and this will be a lot of them, will be anxieties. So you'll think about schedules. Oh, I need to do that. I need to call this person. I need to respond to that email. I need to do this about my plan for the day, et cetera, et cetera. They will continually pop up over and over and over again. You will also have moments of envy, thoughts of, I wish I had what that other person is having. Their world seems so much better than mine. They're traveling to other places. Their kids are doing better. And it's not going to pop up in the way I'm saying it. They'll be like images of these people associated with things where you feel that little twang of envy. And sometimes you're not even aware that you're feeling this envy. Another thing that will commonly pop up will be memories. And I do a lot of meditation, and it is absolutely astounding the weird memories that pop up when you try and empty your mind. They'll come from out of nowhere, things that you've completely forgotten about, just kind of weird sensations that are very vague, where the past is entering the present. On and on and on. There'll be things that have thoughts about your plans, which are also related to your anxieties. Okay, so throwing all of that out, just notice that with these kinds of thoughts that pop up, there are patterns to them, right? I notice a lot in my meditation that the same types of thoughts recur over and over and over and over again. It is really strange, and it almost gives me the sense that I am not an autonomous human being, that I have been programmed. It's almost like a computer program that runs over and over and over again. This is what we would call compulsive thoughts. And you are always, always a slave. You're always vulnerable to these compulsive thoughts that come in patterns, right? So if you have grievances about what people aren't giving you, they'll tend to be the same kinds of grievances, the same quality of them over and over and over again. I want you in this exercise to get a feel for the patterns of your thoughts, of your inner world. And you can only do this when you quiet your mind, okay? Now, I want you to now think about taking this outside, but outside still in your own world. You're not out in the world yet. You're thinking about the patterns in your life in a larger sense. You're thinking about how your relationships, for instance, how if you look at the course of your life, and it's a little easier when you get older, your relationships will tend to fall in a particular pattern. They will often be very tumultuous. They never last more than a few months. You're the one that's always breaking them off for some reason. Or it's the opposite. Relationships go on long and you're clinging to them desperately while the other person wants to get out. On and on. There'll be a pattern to how you relate to an intimate partner. But this also will apply to your career, how you relate to figures of authority, often that have to do with your parental figures. So there'll be patterns in dealing with a boss or a superior colleague. And if you think about it, you'll notice that you always tend to respond in a similar way. These things that are recurring on and on and on in your relationships, in your career, in your goals and your dreams and the things that you want to accomplish in life, they are related, deeply related to those compulsive thoughts that I was mentioning. So that tendency to feel a grievance, that level of anxiety that you're continually bringing up, those kinds of fantasies that you have, the feeling of envy, you're bringing those into your relationships, and they are causing these recurring patterns in your life over and over and over again. The same thing is happening in your career. You're feeling like people need to be respecting me more. I'm not getting enough respect. I'm not getting enough attention. You're not aware that that is a pattern in your life because it's in your unconscious. It's like programmed in there. And the only way you're going to be ever aware of it is if you take this meditation, this time I'm talking about, and become conscious of how your thoughts revolve around that, right? Then you'll see, yes, I do have that. And then you'll notice the larger patterns that these kind of tend to ripple out into the world, into your actions in life. I want you in this exercise to become deeply, deeply aware of the patterns in your life and how they're trapping you in the same responses over and over and over again, in dealing with people, in dealing with yourself, and dealing with your career. You will notice, obviously, and this is a very important part, that other people have the same compulsive nature. That is human nature with an exclamation point. So you also want to focus on the patterns that you see in other people's lives. And I always tell people, if somebody does something once to you, they do something that's bad or they're mean or they yell at you, then they go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. That isn't me. If something came over me. I want you to realize that that is never the case. It's always part of a pattern. People never, ever do something just once. They will do it again and again and again. It reveals something about them. But it also reveals something about you. And so when you finally become aware of these compulsive patterns in your life, the process that you must go through is to try to break them on a small level. And the way to break them on a small level is to go back to those thinking patterns that you have to try and stop them. And the best way of stopping them is to continually tell yourself, let go, let go, let go. It's almost like your mantra. So when you're feeling anxieties that are popping up about your scheduling, about things that are coming up, just try and tell yourself, I'm going to let go of it. I'm not going to think that, right? Because a lot of energy in your life is expended on anxieties that don't get you anywhere. They kind of drain you. Then when it comes to grievances with people, things that they're not doing for you, disappointments, let go of them. Forgive them.
Forever lover. In the depths of the darkest night, your love shines through, a guiding light. With every heartbeat I feel your grace. In your warm embrace I find my place. Darling, don't cry, don't shed a tear, for I'll be your fortress, I'll always be near. Though storms may rage and oceans may roar, I'll stand by your side forevermore. Through the trials and the tests we face, our love will endure, it cannot be erased. So dry your eyes, my love, and take my hand. Together we'll conquer.
Drop them. Don't let them obsess you, right? It's like we all have a degree of obsessive compulsive disorder, right? And it's how the brain works. And you want to train your brain to let go of things. Literally by saying that, by literally dropping it from your thought patterns. And so that, I think, could be a very important way for dealing with the compulsive aspect of our lives. Thank you.